Andrew, do you know who Chase Young is?
Yeah, of course.
No. My point is, I don't either.
Before I said that Cade Cunningham would never be an All-Star, and I just wanted to double down on that.
Oh,
I just
we're back
What's going
with
on with
another.
Mike's video?
I know.
The NBA Conference Championships are set, and let's talk a little more about the NFL. Let's go.
Welcome back.
What's going on, Jam Packed? I'm MK. I'm your host. I'm here with John and Tesla May. Where is Drew when we need him? We're supposed to start this segment with the NBA. Like, what the world is going on?
I have no clue. What's up, man? How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. You guys, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah, dude, this is the first night without sports in a while, though, for a long time. At least some good sports for me.
Let's jump into it. Let me get a couple things up on the screen. I'll get the ticker up just so that people know. Welcome back to another episode. We'll hopefully, I don't know how long we're gonna spend on this NBA stuff. The Celtics beat the Cavs 113-198 to clear out their series 4-1. I think everyone saw that coming, right? So we can move on from that. The Pacers ended up winning 130 to a very beat up Knicks team to 109. I mean, that went into a game 7. Question for you guys. So they win the series 4-3. Are the Pacers still winning that series, even if it took it to game 7 with a healthy Knicks squad?
No.
They making it any close at all?
I mean, it might be close, but I mean, I would say that the healthy Knicks squad is going to beat this Pacers team. I really think Game 7 towards the end is like a light switch. They just flipped the light switch on and shots started to go in. But I'll tell you, I think the Knicks would have stole the game earlier, and I don't think it would have went to Game 7 in my opinion. With if everybody was healthy.
Mike, what do you think?
What was the question? My internet cut out a little bit when you said it.
The tables have turned. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Would the Pacers end up winning 4-3, right? They're winning the series 4-3. Are the Pacers still winning the series with a healthy Knicks squad?
Probably not, but the Knicks need to learn to play defense. I mean,
That's
if you
fair.
look at these games, I mean, giving up 130 points in a game 7 on your home floor is, and I understand that the Pacers shot lights out, but it's hard to think too if Thibodeau is not the problem of these guys getting injured. I mean, he's playing them max minutes. I mean, I know Randall was injured. I know he was down guys going into the game, but like you got to find other guys. So I do, like John said, I lean the Knicks. I think the Knicks win the series with a healthy team, but at the same time, like some things need to change with the way that they're playing, right? They can't be so offensive minded. I mean, you're not going to just outscore teams. But the Pacers are up and coming. So I mean, look out. It's a good rivalry. I'm glad we got it back like '94. Got Knicks Pacers and the bad blood between them. I like that. I think the NBA is better because of that series.
I honestly am more hyped about the Knicks than I am the Pacers coming out. I think if they can stay healthy, I mean, if Thibodeau can figure it out and they can stay healthy, man, look out. I mean, their roster stacked. Yikes. They're going to be
I
good
think
for,
Randall's a free agent though, right? That's their biggest concern.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his contract situation is. Bro, what's up? Welcome back to the live. So the Eastern Conference championships are set with the Celtics versus Pacers. Who are you guys taking in this series?
Boston. I mean, it'll be another. I mean, the thing with Boston is they just keep scoring, and the Pacers just keep letting you score. So if there's one team that could score with Boston, it's potentially the Pacers. I just think Boston's better at it. So
Yep.
I'm gonna go Boston, and I'm gonna say 4-1 again. I think it's not close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I definitely agree with Mike. I would say 4-2, but still the same outcome. Boston's a scoring machine. Hard to stop them.
yeah. I think the Celtics are definitely.
Brought me in like this.
I love it. I love it. Drewski, what's going on, man? Who's winning this Celtics Pacers series?
Turn the light on.
I'm gonna go Pacers. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's Celtics, and
It's
it'll
got to
be
be
in
Celtics,
5.
right? You think so? It's gonna
I
go
think
5.
it'll be in 5. Yeah, I mean,
Mike, you look like you're agreeing with that.
I
Well, I
think,
said 4-1, so he must have heard me before he came on.
I think, I think Porzingis. I think I'm the one making all the NBA picks the right way, man. The Knicks were unfortunate. I picked them to
Shocker.
win, but no. But even without Porzingis, I think the Celtics are a better team. So, and I think Porzingis might be coming back this series. So, I don't know what the Pacers have planned, but the Celtics are a better defensive team than the Knicks, and they can run and score with the Pacers too. So I don't know what they're going to do.
True. Honestly, I think this one's a runaway with the Celtics for sure. I don't even think it's going to be close. Let's move out west.
I will say, is the only team in the East that was built to beat the Celtics were the Knicks, and they had to be healthy. If they're not healthy, then they wouldn't beat the Celtics either. But that's the only team that had the personnel that could even match up and guard some of the Celtics team, in my opinion. So
That
yeah,
is true. The Knicks are going to be scary for sure. The Thunder lose 116-117 to the Mavs. Man, squeaked one by. Could have pushed it to game 7, but Mavs take that series 4-2 to move on. Another young up and coming team in the Thunder, right? Who's the MVP of that Mavs team? Is it Luka or is it Kyrie? Who's carrying that team right
It
now?
was Washington in that
In
series.
that,
Like,
in that yeah, right.
EJ.
yeah, I mean, he came to play. I think Kyrie's looking more and more like a role player from what I'm
Yeah,
seeing. Like
I
he
agree with
wants
that.
to not be, but the way it was like he's turning into this role player, and I'm like, what the heck? Like this guy needs to be a leader on this team. Like I don't know. I maybe it was just how they guarded him, but um like I was talking to a buddy and he's like, man, Kyrie's the best six man of the year right now, like playing like his all-star. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point, but he does need to step it up, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he is a leader on this team. Him and Luca, it's his team, it's their team, and so if they want to get past the Wolves, like it's gonna come down to Kyrie, Jamal Murray. I think that matchup's gonna be pretty good.
Kyrie, he had a couple games where he didn't score a lot, but he, I mean, to me, he won that series. I don't know. I don't know what, like, he didn't score all the points, but in big games in the second half, like he always kind of lets the game come to him. So in the first half, he's passing the ball, he's distributing, PJ scoring, but even in those games where he would score 17, maybe 20 points, like they were all coming in the third and fourth quarter, like every single one of his points. So I don't know. I think he played kind of what the defense gave him. He didn't force things, and he is a huge part of that. But yeah, I agree. PJ Washington's kind of the he him and something that happened to the Mavs in the second half of the season is they got that trade for PJ Washington, and then their defense just like figured it out with Gafford, Lively, PJ Washington. These guys like they just figured out the defense, and then they became an elite team. So um, yeah, the Thunder huge mistake at the trade deadline. They traded for Gordon Hayward. Mike, I think you sent me. Who sent me the graphic where Gordon Hayward
Me.
had like 0 points? Yeah,
Yeah.
where he had like 5. Like I don't remember, but in 48 minutes he scored like 0 points. Basically a non-factor in the playoffs when they should have been going after a Gafford or some kind of big man to help out Chet. Like they basically said at the trade deadline, we don't want to win this year. We're getting ready for next year is what they did, and that's why they couldn't win this series. If they just got another big man, they could have matched up with the Mavs, and they could have matched up with the Wolves in the Western Conference Finals, and they might be going to the finals this season. But since they didn't pick up that big man in the trade deadline, they basically conceded the whole season. They're like, oh, we're not interested in winning this season. And I don't know why. I think maybe they thought their team was too young and they're banking for the future more. And maybe they're right. Long term, it'll work out for them, not giving any assets up. But they have so many assets still. Like, why not? You know, I think they should have pulled the trigger, especially with the Wolves taking out the Nuggets for them. I know they couldn't predict that, but it's kind of an opportunity wasted for the Thunder here. And the Mavs now have a shot to go to the finals, which is something we would not have thought possible at the beginning of this season, the way they were playing.
So in the last, or the amount of days since the last conference final or LCS appearance for Dallas teams,
I saw that.
Dallas Mavericks 0. Obviously, they just advanced. The Dallas Stars, which is the hockey team, made it to the playoffs, so they're at 0. The Texas Rangers, 209 days since their last appearance in a conference final, and the Dallas Cowboys, 10,352 days since the last time they were in
Big
conference
Dak.
championship. I'm so sorry, Dallas.
You know what
I
though?
know.
They did absolutely nothing this offseason, so they're ready to go for another 10,000 days.
Real quick, let me rebuttal you, Andrew, because so last game Kyrie got 22 points, but 9 for 23 shooting, 2 rebounds, 3 assists.
What
Game
were his points in the second half though?
I don't know, but let me go further. Game 5, 12 points. So even if he got them all in the second half, that's not enough from an all-star. The game before, game 4, 9 points. Again, even if they all came in the fourth quarter, I don't care. 9 points is not enough. 22 points in game 3 and 9 points in game 2. So you're telling me you have your all-star getting 9, 9, and 12 and not really getting assists and affecting the games in other ways? Like, to me, I'm just saying that you're talking about an all-star. Like, this is a max contract, right? Like,
What did he
you
get in
expect
game
this
one
guy.
though?
Game 1, he had 20 points. So game 1, 20 points, 3 assists. Game 2, 9 points, 11 assists. Game 3, 22 points, 7 assists. Game 4, 9 points, 9 assists. Game 5, 12 points, 4 assists. And game 6, 22 points, 3 assists. So again, I mean, I'm just saying, like, they may have been timely buckets, but that series was kind of weird because they had big leads and it got close, right? I mean, there really weren't super duper competitive games like wire to wire. I know a couple of them came down to the
So
wire.
what's interesting about this series is both teams scored the same amount of points.
That's weird, yeah.
So the Mavs won, but both teams scored. I think it was like 693 or something like that. But they both scored the same amount of points. So it is a pretty close series, but ultimately the Mavs executed when it mattered, and then, but they laid those games where Kyrie scored very few points. I think they only won one of those three, right? Is what I was
No,
thinking.
they actually won 2. So they won
Two of
game
those three.
5, they won game 2, and when he got 9 and 12, and they lost the other one when he got 9.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, that's right, because they won 5 and yep. Yeah,
I'm
I
just saying.
mean,
I'm just saying. I expect Kyrie. Like when I hear the name Kyrie, like I expect him to be carrying this team if it's not Luca. And there were games where Luca did not carry him, right?
Yep.
And so it's like, okay, Kyrie needs to step up, and I just didn't see it.
Especially,
Now that I'm not saying his ability's not there. Like I just you tell me Kyrie got 9, 9, and 12, and like you said, they lose 2 to all 3 of those games, and they won 2 of them. Like that's says a lot about the team, right?
yeah.
But not so much the individual, in my opinion.
I mean, to this day, Kyrie is still regarded as one of the hardest people to guard, right?
Right.
And if you're that hard to guard, but you're not putting up the production, something's not adding up.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged for the series 15.7 points. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
I
you
guess I
know,
just can't see it like because in the Clippers series he played really well, I thought, but
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, well, yeah, so especially some of those games in the second half, he did a lot better. Yeah, I
so
mean, that series, look, 31, 23, 21, 40,
Yeah.
14, and 30.
yeah, the difference too is he's playing against a bunch of young guys, man, in the Thunder. It's kind of what the Nuggets saw with the Wolves. I feel like that defense was like these guys are just hustling and all over them. And the Thunder have good defensive schemes. They're a good, solid defensive team as well. So I'd have to watch more, I guess, to see what they were doing to him. If there's a reason why he wasn't scoring, or if it was just not his series. I'm not, maybe that's it. But that's
well,
interesting.
let's move on to the biggest matchup of this last series. The Timberwolves ended up winning 98-90 against the Nuggets, taking down the champions, last year's champions, and a 4-3 win in the series. Wolves were down, just for those who didn't watch the game, the Wolves were down by 20 points early in the third quarter to come all the way back and win by 8
On,
uh,
on the road.
on the road.
On the road.
On the road, no less, like in Denver, like that. And Denver's no easy place to play.
So the largest comeback in Game 7 history, I think, was 11 points, and I think it was the 2018 Warriors that did it. I think that was a series against the Rockets when the Rockets went like 0 for 27 or something like that. They were up and from
Remember that.
3, they went like 0 for 27 from 3 or something like that. It was
I remember
crazy.
that.
And the Warriors won that game. They came back. Steph and
Didn't
KD.
Chris Paul get injured in that game?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah.
And the Wolves did it. They came back down 20, which is I think the largest comeback in any Game 7. Just insane. And Joker played 47 minutes. If you told me there was a game where Joker and Jamal Murray had 30 plus points each and they lost, it's just crazy. And they only scored 90 points. So it says a lot about the Wolves' game plan of how they plan to win. And
Who do you think was the MVP of that game? Drew.
Edwards.
Who had? Well, I'll say
He was
who
like
had
6 for 24, but I don't care. He was
who.
the
Yeah,
MVP.
who had the most impact? You think Edward?
So okay. Karl Anthony Towns was scoring. He was actually playing good defense, which I haven't seen from him before. Like this series, he's actually played great defense on Joker, which is insane because when he came into the NBA, that was his biggest thing about it. Everyone said, "Oh, this guy can score and he's a really good defender," and then we never saw it for years and years in the NBA. And then all of a sudden in this series, I'm like, his defensive prowess appeared out of nowhere. So He played great defense, so he had a great game. I think it was Jaden McDaniels. He had a great series, but he played great defense today.
Yep.
I mean, on yesterday, and I actually thought Gobert was going to lose him the game. That guy in the first half of the game, he touched they kept giving it to him on offense. It kept ended up in his hands. I'm like, he's the one guy you don't want touching the ball on the offensive side. Great defender, but you don't want him to be the one at the end of the shot clock with the ball in his hand. Like, what are you guys doing? And it was why they were getting killed. And they kind of figured that out and stopped getting him the ball on the offensive end. But Edwards, even despite a terrible shooting night, second half, third quarter, he locked up Jamal Murray. That was really a big change in the game. Huge steals, dunks. I don't know. Like, even though he shot poorly, he just affected the game in other ways and just led that team. I think it's his personality, it's his leadership that's changed this team. He's made them winners. So I still give it to him, even though he had a poor shooting night.
Mike, who do you think was the most impactful in this last game?
So this last game, I'm gonna give it to Jaden McDaniels. I think his plus minus was 12. 7 for 10 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3-point land. What's interesting about that is, as a team, they only shot 39% and won this game. And it wasn't even the 3-point
Yeah.
line. They were 29% from the 3-point line. So I mean, it's just
Yeah.
honestly, they just played Minnesota basketball. They were the best defensive team all season, and they proved that defense can still win championships. I mean, that's ultimately what this game comes down to. Like Andrew said, they let Joko grow off, but they weren't going to let anyone else beat him. I mean, 69 of the 90 points scored by those two individuals, and the rest of the team can only score 21. I mean, Aaron Gordon, where are you, right? Michael Porter Jr.,
Porter
your
Jr.
guy,
He's
Mike.
either
I
hot or
mean,
cold,
Yep.
man.
yeah, I mean, he just disappeared. Like it was you, Mike, last Wednesday at
Well,
basketball. I mean, I
he
don't
took
know.
shots.
Yeah.
He took shots. He just didn't make any of them.
He was 3 for 12. He was 3 for 12 that game, and that was no joke. Me the night before.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, like Minnesota clamped down, but Denver actually shot better from the field. Like it's just impressive. Now the biggest disparity was 30 free throw attempts to 16, right?
Yeah.
And to go on the road and get to the line 30 times, that tells you about the aggressiveness of their team. And Gobert, credit Gobert. Yeah, he's not an offensive player, but he was a poor free throw shooter there for a while. And he went
Yeah.
7 for 9 from the free throw line. So I mean, they did
He-
what they needed to do. They look hungry. They look ready. I'm kind of glad personally, because I don't think that Nuggets team is that good to be a two-peat, right? Like, I don't, in my opinion, I don't think they're, when you think of like these elite teams and dynasties and all that, I don't think I personally do not see that Nuggets team as a dynasty. And so I'm a little happy to an extent, but I did not see that coming. I did not see Minnesota beating them.
John, who do you think was most impactful in that game?
Well, I think Mike named like 7 players right now, so he took my little
You got
piece
2
for
left, John. You
Gobert.
got 2.
No, Conley didn't do that. I mean, Conley played his position, but he didn't do anything exciting. But I was gonna go with Gobert, and I know that contradicts what Andrew was saying, but Gobert gets you the rebounds, and it gets you the possessions, right? So to me, that's important in a game like this. And then while he's not great, if he's anywhere within 5 feet of the basket, he'll make it. It's just anywhere beyond 5 feet of the basket, it's a little bit harder for
He
him.
had this huge shot actually, where he hit it at the very end of the shot clock. Where like
He threw it up.
he just threw it up and it went in, and I was like, at that point, you're like, okay, it's Minnesota's night. Like Gobert can tuck this terrible shot up and it goes in. It's and I guess John, you're right in a way. Like they only scored 90 points. They only gave up 90 points, and Gobert is a defensive anchor, so I mean,
Yeah.
it makes sense to give him. And I think it was just part of the reason they struggled offensively in the beginning is that he kept it. They were going to too much to him on offense, where that's not what his strength is. That's not what he's there
Correct.
for. So
Correct.
that was my only point against him. But
I'm actually gonna pick a guy, especially
Joker.
in no, actually, I'm very I want the guy coming off the bench that can give me some type of energy, right? Especially if
Nice.
my starters are, they need some help or whatever. You need that juicy guy off the bench. And although Nasri did not have a huge night, he was actually -5, right? When he was on the court, only had 11 points. But if you watch that fourth quarter, Nas
Yeah.
Reed made that difference. Block coach, block Joker on one end to get the putback dunk on the other end. Like those are the
I was
kind
actually
of guys.
curious why Cat was sitting initially. Like I was
Foul.
wondering why they had Cat on the
He had
bench.
foul
He had
trouble.
foul trouble.
But
'Cause, I
but
mean-
Nas this whole series, and I even the series before too. I mean, you just see his intensity for the minutes that he plays. Right, it's not a
Right.
ton of minutes, but he gives you everything he's got when he's out there. So I think that's a really good call. I mean, I think from a series standpoint, it's that guy coming off the bench, and he gives you that fire that you need.
Oh, definitely.
He's the
Definitely.
third big. He's the third
Yeah.
big they needed to guard the Joker, basically.
Yeah. Correct.
So Mavs.
You know who had the greatest
Wolves,
plus minus though, John?
Who?
You know who had the biggest plus minus? Mike Connolly.
Mm-mm.
Mike Conley.
No.
No
Yep.
tech Mike.
I love Mike Conley.
Dude, I don't know what's
That dude
going
does
on.
not
Guys,
Hey, real quick.
He's got
real quick,
some,
I want
like-
to bring
His
up
job
something.
so well.
Go ahead.
I want to bring up something. All right. Of the three major sports, I've been wanting to text you guys this, but I wanted to catch your first opinion, so I didn't want to give you anything. All right. So of the three major sports, baseball, football, basketball.
you mean in the U.S.?
Yes.
The three: MLB, NBA, NFL. Those three sports.
Okay.
Which of those three sports do you think has the least importance of home field advantage? And then which one do you think has the most importance to have home field or home court advantage?
I'll tell you
John,
what,
go.
if I go first, I actually think the NFL every year is losing its home field advantage. I think it's less and less important as the years go on. I think that would be my guess.
Okay. So you say least of the three would be NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mike, Andrew, you ready? Go.
That was my initial thought with NFL, actually.
Really?
But
NFL with least.
just because, I mean, it's one game, right? Like, I don't know. Anything can happen in one game. That's how I always feel. So
I think
Okay.
from my opinion, I think it's because teams, and especially in the NFL, they can play away and they don't let the noise bother them so much. But I know that if you ever been to a baseball game, well, I'm a Dodger fan, so go to a Dodgers game and let it be like San Francisco Giants or Angels or whatever, and act like that's not loud, and act like your favorite player comes up, with 2 outs in the ninth. I mean, that's fire when you get your favorite player going on. That stadium's rocking. Like, that means something, I think, to the team. So, and then the crowd's behind you there. So, and I think same thing in basketball. Like, fourth quarter's coming up and team's down by like 2 or 3, and all of a sudden your team scores a couple baskets. That place is rocking and it's on fire. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I'm
What
gonna
about
go
you,
with
Mike?
I'm gonna go with little bro on this one, with the NBA being the least of the three, only because especially in a series, you can always flip home court advantage.
one game.
Yeah, it only necessarily takes one game. So I'm gonna go NBA with the least.
So for
Okay.
me, it's
So yeah, go
sorry,
for
go
it.
ahead, Mike. I was gonna say
No,
with
no,
the
go, go,
NBA, I thought about them like of recent years. I felt like it's mattered less in recent years in the NBA. Whereas when I was growing up, I felt like the home team, the home court mattered more. If you had the higher seed, it mattered a lot. The last two NBA seasons, we had the 7th seed Lakers go to the Western Conference Finals. And then this season, we had the 5th seed Mavs beat the 4th seed Clippers and the 1st seed Thunder. And then we got the 3rd seed Wolves beating the 2nd seed Nuggets. So like, and then we had the 6th seed Pacers beating the Knicks. So
The
like
2
this
seed, yeah.
season and last season, and then Miami Heat, the 8th seed, went all the way to the finals, right? So this season and last season, I'm like, why do you even care about the regular season anymore? That's how it felt in the NBA. But I don't know historically if that's how it's been.
So that's exactly where I'm going with this. Is I feel you. I mean, you basically just took the words out of my mouth, Andrew. I was gonna name all that stuff that you said. So is the fact that there's a play-in changing the importance of a regular season? So you have teams like the Nuggets, or who, mediocre throughout the year, and then they just turn it on at the end, and then it becomes important. But the reality is, does seeding matter? Like is NBA turning a little bit like baseball? There's just too many games in the regular season to care about, and really, let's just get in, and then we'll win one game on the road, still home court advantage, and is it even really an advantage? I mean, we just saw 2 game 7s yesterday where the road team won. Like, that does not happen very often. And so, I mean, how many road teams have won this playoffs in general? Just all throughout the
Well,
playoffs. A lot more
I
than
think.
before.
Go ahead, Mike.
So I don't know. I just don't know if these teams are. I don't know if, and maybe it's just not. It's the parity of the league, right? I understand all that, but at the same time, by getting 10 teams in, you have teams like the Warriors and the Lakers playing in playing games. Like, these
Well,
guys are top 3 teams favored at the beginning of the season every year, right? And now here they are in a playing game, just trying to make it, right? And I don't know. I it's just an interesting concept
And
because
nobody
I
wants
really
them in
think
the
it's
first
changed.
round.
you're definitely onto something, and I think the NBA knows that though, and that's why they created the in-season tournament, right? To try to make the regular season games a little more compelling. Like, oh no, they actually mattered. Like, don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Well, the parity of the league seems more. I think it has to do with the parity of the league too. Whereas, like you saw in the West, seeded 1 through 10, there was like 8 games separating them or something like that. Like the first to second and third seed virtually had the same record. And so, yeah, I think the parity's a lot better in the NBA. But I think what teams have realized is that health is more important than home court advantage in the NBA. Like the health of their teams. We saw that with the Knicks right now. The Knicks, if they were fully healthy, yeah, they got the 2 seed. Awesome, guys. You got the 2 seed. But you lost Randall, OG, Brunson was injured.
I hope
Who else?
Kawhi. I
Josh
hope
Hart was
Kawhi's not
injured.
listening to you right now.
Robinson, Mitchell
So
Robinson.
you're all about load management? Is that what you're saying?
Wait,
no, I'm not about load management, but
we all know Kawhi is watching the pod right now.
Riverside.
You can minutes matter, limiting the minutes matter. Oh, look at that. There be light. The minutes matter. So of how a team's going to be doing. And yeah, so
I don't know. I just don't know if it's a trend, is my point. Because, I mean, like you said, we had an 8 seed last year go to the NBA Finals. So, I mean, really, what are the 82 games? I mean, why are we still playing 82 games if it's about health, if it's about this other stuff, right? And not only that, like, it's eyeballs. The ratings aren't there. The ratings are dropping. So I don't know.
Super
Just an
Soleil.
interesting point I wanted to bring up.
What's up, Super Soleil? Welcome back. Okay, so we're gonna push the agenda here. Mavs Wolves. Who's winning this series? Drew, who do you got? He can't pick. Mike, who do you got?
I'm gonna go Mavs. I still think the Wolves are not quite there. I think I would not be shocked if the Wolves win, but I'm gonna go with the Mavs. I think Wolves are favored, so I'm gonna take the Mavs as an underdog.
John, who you got?
I'm going to take the Wolves. I think for the Mavs to do it, I think Gafford's going to need to be a double-double guy this series. I do think so. And Lively's going to have to get at least one double-double this one double-double in one of the games this series. But they're going against some big guys. And I think I think with the big guys that the Timberwolves have, the great defense that they play, and the shooting that they have, I think they'll take this one.
Okay, back to you, Drew.
After this kind of Edwards coming out party, it's so hard for me right now to bet against Luca. So, because I just think he's so good, but I'm gonna go Wolves. I'm gonna go Wolves this series, and it's all gonna come down to, I think, the size, like John was saying, and if Edwards can continue to lead this team the way he is. So
Super Sully said Wolves depends on Cat. If Cat plays well, then they'll end up winning.
I think it will be. I think the Mavs will make it a tough series for Cat, for sure. They got with Gafford and Lively. I think they're gonna cause problems for Cat for sure.
I think it's gonna come down to the role players. If I mean with the way that the Wolves are playing defense, right, picking up all full court, trying to force the ball out of the ball handler's hands into your role players to see if your role players will actually. I mean, they already proved, okay, we're gonna let Joker go off, we'll let Jamal go off, we'll try to lock down everybody else, right? You let Kyrie and Luka kind of do their thing, make it somewhat difficult. I mean, obviously, don't give them free layups or whatever, but and lock down everybody else. I mean, I think the Wolves definitely have a chance.
I want to see Luka get picked up full court.
I know, right?
I think he doesn't want any of that, to be honest with you. Luka,
No,
I mean,
with how slow he plays the game.
Yeah, Kyrie will have a blast with it, though. But
I think if you pick up Kyrie full court, it's a mistake, man.
agreed.
He's not going to care about that, and he's going to go straight to the rim and just get a layup. If you pick him up full court, you better be ready for that. That's all I know. I think he's going to take a big advantage of that if they try that on him. He's a much better ball handler than Murray. I mean, Murray's great, but
he's not Kyrie.
No, he's not Kyrie. I tell you,
no one's Kyrie. No one's as good as Kyrie with the ball. Maybe the closest was Steph right now in the league. Maybe he's a really good ball handler. I don't know who else could even keep up with Kyrie on that.
Ooh, let's move on to the NFL schedule release. You guys excited? I know.
Yes.
Oh, you need me to put you in timeout for a minute? Let me just kidding. Yeah, I'm dreading this right now. The Raiders open up with the Harbaugh brothers. That's great. That's awesome. I'm probably gonna go start off 0-2. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, here's my question to you guys. Do you think now we know the NFL, like they like their parody? Yeah, we're gonna try to get these beginning games to be, rematches of, past championship or, last year's championships or whatever. Do you think there's anything else they're taking a look at before they schedule games?
Aaron Rodgers.
You think they're taking a look at Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so. I don't think they care because they just put them
why else would they put the Jets though on Monday night to start the season?
Okay, wait, hold on. They put them on Monday night. They figure that the Jets owe them one, right? You owe us a primetime game, or at least Rodgers. But why put him up against the dude that tore his Achilles?
I'm glad you were going there because I was about to go there, man. I was like, oh, I want to say it. Yeah.
What? Wow.
What are the odds
of that,
super
right? Slowly. I would yeah, exactly. What are the odds of that?
That's messed up.
Super silly.
I'm getting back for the vaccine stuff.
I'm not posting your comment because I know where this is going. He's Raiders are best friends with Owen. Who's Owen? Owen 2. He said that the NFL is like the WWF or the old WWF, right? Like
the old
WWE.
I like that.
Yeah.
I remember WWF.
Yes, sir. Crafting the best storylines. That is
Ultimate
true, man.
Warrior was my guy.
That is true. They are crafted.
That's
okay, so
funny.
We'll give you that. But like, okay, let's make Rodgers face the guy that actually tore his
Tore.
Achilles. Maybe he's going for that one. I don't wish any injuries on anybody, but how much you want to bet that the NFL took a look at Taylor Swift concert schedule?
Mm.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to
They
bet?
said 14. I think 14 of the 18 games are around her schedule or something like that.
That's crazy.
I think at one point, I think she tours in Canada. I want to say it's Canada. I think she's touring in Canada sometime in November. When are the Chiefs set to match up against the Bills?
Bills.
Boom. November 17th. At Buffalo. That's no mistake. Don't give me that.
Look at how that works.
Interesting.
I mean, it's billions in free advertising for them. So, like, not billions, but millions. Like,
it'll get to
and
billions, I'm sure.
attracting
soon
so
here.
attracting so much new like viewership, revenue. You know the NFL's killing it when everyone's anticipating the schedule to be released, like on like pins and needles. Like, when's it coming out? Like, NFL's just killing it,
Right.
and they're just gonna keep killing it, man. It's wild. That's wild.
Any who do we got? I mean, little bro changed his name. That's what's up, little bro. Love it. Let's see. Who do you guys? What weeks are you guys worried about, John? When you're looking at your schedule, if you look at your schedule, your Niners schedule, how many games do you guys?
We're favored in all 17. As of right now,
Ooh.
up against Vegas, we're favored in all of them.
Really?
But I'm not
Interesting.
thrilled about Week 7. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know my schedule, but if I'm not mistaken, that's against the Chiefs. But other than that, I mean, I think we could have had it worse, and we don't. So I'll take it. I think we play the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and then I think it's just a normal random draw, which I wasn't too. I'm not disappointed about, so I think we'll be okay.
Super Soleil, if you're still on, what is the prediction of the Bengals schedule? Like, how much? What's your win-loss prediction on that? And why is it Why is it 1-16?
John, the only thing I didn't like about the Niners is we get the Chiefs, Cowboys, and one other team off their bye week.
Oh, what?
So
Little
yeah,
bro-
it was kind of there were 3 tough games that we had, and all 3 of them are off their bye.
Hold
Little
up.
bro
I
said
got a statement. Hold up for little bro. All right, brother. I'm gonna tell you something right now, and I don't have. I wish I had this clip, and I don't have it. So it's an interview of Dak. Someone asking Dak about the Super Bowl, and he's like, "Well, the 49ers are my Super Bowl. We got to beat them first." And that dude's got to be quiet. Don't say stuff like that because you ain't going too far if you can't beat us first. So let's get through the Niners and we'll see what's going on. But yeah, I think the Cowboys have a hill to climb.
They're just adding
I hear
days.
I hear you, Mike. Yeah, there's a couple teams coming off their buys, and I'm okay with that. I think it's pretty hard to prepare for us. I think as long as we're healthy this year, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. So even if we went 12-4, I think that's good enough or I'm sorry, 12-5. There's 17 games, but I think we'll be okay. 12-4. 12-5, we'll be all right. So I'm not really concerned.
And you heard we're favored in all games
all
that we
17.
played. All 17.
I'm sure
that we
that'll
had.
change, right? Because
I
obviously
know.
how the money swings. But I mean, it's pretty cool to come out and say that we're favored in all the games at the beginning of the season. So
yeah, true. But we were favored in the Super Bowl.
Super Solar said the Bengals usually start out slow, but he thinks they're a minimum 11 win team. Could see them going 14, 15 wins. That's like every
Okay,
year.
you
Super
got.
Soleil.
There's no way. There's no way they win 15 games. Come on.
He said, I'll take 12.
I'll take 12 and a half
12,
over.
12 and 5.
Yeah, I think the biggest question for the Bengals, and this is just me just talking, specifically now. I just think how the running game going to look. I think their defense is still solid. I think they have a great, passing game, but with Mixon not being there, how's the run scheme going to be? Can they be consistent? Can they be healthy? Right, and I think those are the
can Burrow
questions that you
stay
have to
healthy?
ask.
Yeah,
Can
healthy
Burrow
Burrow is like, what's he like? Top. I mean, he's top 5 quarterback, right?
Sure, he can be. Yeah.
I mean, home versus New England, they win week 1. At Kansas City, they lose week 2. Home versus Washington, they win. At Carolina, they win. They could potentially be 3-1. Home versus Baltimore, divisional game tough. At New York, probably a win. At Cleveland, probably a loss. Home versus Philly, I'm gonna go loss. At Raiders, maybe a tie because they both suck. At Baltimore,
We coming out. We
Baltimore,
coming
that's a
out
loss.
swinging.
At Chargers, I'm gonna go under 12.5. If that's that number, I'm gonna go under 12.5. For
He
sure.
says they're 3-1 versus the Chiefs. Just FYI.
Yeah, I know. You do have, but this one's in Kansas City, which I know you beat them in the AFC. I know you beat them.
Hey, in
Burrow
Kansas City
owns
doesn't.
Mahomes,
But they got Taylor Swift now, so let's
I
be
think
careful, right?
during that same span though, I
Swift
think
over
the
there.
Chiefs had during that same span the Chiefs have 2 Super Bowl rings that you don't have. So, but yeah, I know Burrow owns Mahomes, and but no, it'll all come down to Burrow's health really at the end of the day.
Yeah, it definitely depends on Burrow, and he agrees. Once he goes down, they're basically out.
I know. I had Jamar Chase on my team, so my freaking fantasies. So.
I just want to throw this out there. I know we're talking NFL, but you're looking beautiful out there, Drew. Just FYI. I don't care what they tell you. You're looking good, my man.
Wait,
you're looking good.
Who's saying I'm not? What's going on over there?
Little Burrow says Taylor Swift is the 12th man.
There you go. You ain't wrong
Hey,
with that one.
raise that flag. Raise the flag. Speaking of, I saw this meme earlier today. It's, the last 20 years, this is who's won the NFC West. The NFC West. Seahawks still win the NFC West. I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, but in the last 10 years, so if we just shorten that by 10 years, everybody's tied at 3 except for the Cardinals. The Cardinals has only won once. So not really. And you guys don't ever go anywhere in the playoffs. Come on, where are my Seattle fans at?
Not
Yeah,
here.
well,
Not there? Not there?
think,
Interesting.
I think they struggled when they had Drew Lock as their starter for a little bit. I mean, I don't know what happened there. So picking up Geno Smith is a better comeback. But when you got Drew Lock as your starter, it's a head scratcher for everybody, and that's not even my team. So,
What do you guys think about the Rams this year?
Oh man, they're gonna be tough. I think they're gonna be tough.
But no Aaron Donald on the defensive side. I think their defense is gonna hurt. Like offensively, they're gonna be able to hang, but I don't know that their defense will be able to keep it up.
So what? You're basically telling me that Stafford is in Detroit West? No defense, just a ton of offense.
I think
he's used to that.
I don't know. I
So
think there's
is-
gonna be some regression for Puka, right? Year 2, kind of got some film on him. I don't know that their offense is gonna be that good, as good as it was last year.
is Stafford a little sore because Jared Goff got this nice lengthy extension and he may not?
Stafford's older though, right?
I don't think he cares. He's got his Super Bowl ring, man. I don't think he cares.
Maybe.
He's got the better accolades. You
I
look
don't
at all
know.
the receivers that have won Triple Crown, Rookie of the Year, most receiving yards. I'm like, you have Megatron, Puka,
Sure.
and Cup under his belt. I mean, Goff has Laporta.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I think if you just look at it, though, I think. Well, I mean, I'm on Ross St. Brown's, not nothing to sneeze at, but
Right.
I would say that you know, for as long as he's been in the league, the like now money is the best money, right? Because you have the most potential chance to make as much money as possible now versus you did back then, regardless of your accolades, right? What are they talking about? 50 mil for Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
crazy.
all in on what they want to pay him, and like, what has Trevor Lawrence done?
Yeah,
I can't
nothing.
answer that.
Absolutely
Like,
nothing.
yeah. So
He came back versus the Chargers, but yeah, I hear you.
Tim Tebow
Bro,
won a
bro,
playoff game too, right? So I mean,
True.
I don't know what else to say past
Good
that.
point.
bro, take a look at the Raiders schedule and tell me what you predict their win-loss record
That's
is going to
where the
be.
NFL that's where the NFL is, John. I mean,
Oh,
what do you
sure,
do? Do you move
sure.
on from him? I mean, you either got to commit or you don't. And I'm not making a case either way. I'm just saying, what do you do? If you're Jacksonville, do you re-sign the guy or do you let him walk and start over? I mean, it's
I think
tough.
I think you look and say this choice would have been, if you're gonna walk away from them, you go all in on this last draft, right, and then pick somebody from there. But
Yeah, you pull
it,
a Falcons, sign
yeah,
Cousins for all this money, and then draft Penix. Like you're basically
Shots
like,
fired.
yeah, you're a rental.
but he's not wrong. Put with all the weapons that the Jags have now, put Kirk Cousins on the Jags. How are they doing? They're probably kicking butt over there, right? Like I can see them being a 10-win team, maybe
Yeah, I
11.
mean, but wasn't he injured last year? Like they almost
Sure, he tore his Achilles, but then you go, get a Penix, or I don't know, pick
I
a
mean,
quarterback. And
they finished 9-8 last year. Like they
sure,
had a winning record. So like, I mean, yeah, maybe he's not taking the Super Bowl, but he's flipped that franchise around.
Yeah, I mean, but look at the competition that he's had, right? Well, as far as
True, it's
starting
a crappy
quarterbacks
division.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
well, as far as starting quarterbacks in Jacksonville, outside of Gardner Minshew, and Nick Foles when Minshew got hurt, right? He was basically replacing, or let's say the history of their quarterbacks, Blake Bortles, Chad
Love like
Henne, right? Like Gabbert,
Mark
David
Brunell
Garrard,
was the best
Brian
Jags
Leftwich,
quarterback,
yeah,
in my
Brian
opinion.
Leftwich, and Mark Brunell. Mark
Oh
Brunell
yeah,
was
Leftwich too was pretty good. Yeah, I like
right.
him.
I mean, like but it's not like they are a franchise
Sure.
well known for their quarterback play. It's
so
just
what do you I
ridiculous.
mean, I'm just saying, what do you do? Like I hear you. I hear you. He hasn't lived up to his expectations, but I mean he's gotten them to a playoff game. He's won a playoff game. He's gotten a winning season last year. Like he's still young. Let's give him another season before we talk about that. Is my point, right?
Sure.
Um,
I just think you don't want to, just because he's a number one draft pick, you don't want to just hang your hat on that, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Like, yeah, he's got a lot of attributes that you want, big tall quarterback, big strong arm. I get all that, right? But he's also been playing for 4 years, and you kind of get to see what you've had for 4 years. Now, granted, he had a really good last year, but I would say mediocre 3 years before that. But again, I hear what you're saying. That it's kind of skim pickings out there where, yeah, there was Kirk Cousins, and I probably wouldn't have wanted to pay him 120 mil to go over to the Jags, but maybe he's a good bridge quarterback, and again, maybe you traded a couple assets to go higher in the draft, and maybe get a quarterback that you wanted. It's a gamble either way, right? And I guess that's why we're able to talk about it. It's just it's a gamble. We'll see.
Okay, so
I think you stick with him.
Super Sola asks, okay, so you taking Trevor Lawrence or Tua?
I think that's a good question. I do think that's a good question. That's a fair question.
I'll answer it. I'll take Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. Tua's too injury prone. I mean, he's been out multiple years, right? And at the end of the day, at least Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff game.
True.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think I would still take Trevor Lawrence. I don't think you're wrong.
What I do, I mean, you have a point. Like
Trevor
his
Lawrence
quarterback
hasn't been
play.
injured.
What?
Come on, guys. Trevor
Come
Lawrence
on,
hasn't
Dolph.
been injured.
Get him.
Well, I
Almost
Dolph.
mean,
got
he
injured
has a
last
couple of
year.
That's what
bad
I'm
hair
saying.
days.
I
But
mean,
Trevor Lawrence remembers how to spell his own
The
name. Tua
wind
does
blew the
not,
other
and
way.
he's only got
Yeah.
3 letters. I mean,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
like the guy got concussed like twice in one game. CTE is it
Yeah.
should be his name rather than TUA.
Yeah. Like they're
That's his
showing
middle
they're
name.
showing Tua hits in the concussion videos, right? They're
Oh,
not
yeah.
those are classic signs.
I
Check him
mean, you
out.
the
put it
guy
this
threw
way,
for
you
like
put Tyreek
4,000 yards or whatever.
you
but
put okay,
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill.
to
Tyreek Hill ran for
He's got
2,000 yards.
3,300
Yeah.
of those 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
Tyreek
This
Hill
too much.
ran for 1,800 yards. I mean, that's
You're definitely onto something. Like Trevor Lawrence, has he been top tier quarterback? No, but I honestly think that the Jaguars have to improve that situation. Like, okay, if you don't want to move on from him, then push the envelope. Like, improve that quarterback room to help him fight for his
push.
position.
Right.
Right. Just like the rated. Well, now Aiden O'Connell, not a top tier quarterback. So what do? You sign somebody that is kind of a free agent that maybe push the envelope. Okay, look, if you're not going to continue to improve, then the guy we just signed is going to start, right? Minshew will start, which I think the Jaguars should have done. They should have
Yeah.
gone out and gotten, I don't know. We don't know how many years Tannehill is good, but he's still out there. You can't tell me that.
Do you think there's something to be said for these quarterbacks that instantly start versus the Patrick Mahomes, sit behind Alex Smith, watch, develop, and then come in?
Oh, definitely. I think so. I think there's only about a handful of quarterbacks that are smart enough to pick up a brand new system and run with it. Right. I don't think I mean, some guys you just have to develop. I mean, Jordan Love's a great example. He sat, right? Aaron Rodgers sat.
well, Aaron Rodgers sat. Steve Young sat. I mean, you can go on and on about all these quarterbacks that sat that did really, really well.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Tom Brady
Tom
sat.
Brady sat. Well, there's some that, I mean, CJ Stroud, he didn't sit, but
No, I'm like I said, there's only about a
there's
handful
a
of
handful.
quarterbacks, right? Like,
Yeah, but let's see some, right? Let's see his career versus 1 year.
That's
Very
true.
rarely. There's very few CJ Strouds out there. I mean, that even produce that are in the MVP running, their first year in the league, right?
That's true.
But you're right. I mean, yeah, I just don't know if maybe these guys. I mean, maybe that's what Atlanta was thinking, Andrew. I don't know. You may be onto something that.
Well, that's what
Penix
I
is
mean. When
gonna
I
develop.
saw that, like everyone was freaking out, and I was like, that makes perfect sense. Let him sit behind Kirk Cousins for 3 years, learning everything, and then you potentially have this amazing quarterback that's going to come in his third or fourth season.
The
Yeah,
only thing is his age.
Well,
Penix's
his age is what was more concerning. We get that Penix is a great quarterback, but I think he's already 24. So then by the time he starts, he's 27. I mean,
he plays. I mean, you get 10 years from him, then you're good to go, man.
But the
Success.
probability, though, the probability
True. He's
that
not
he
wrong.
won't start before his 3 years, I think Kirk Cousins gets injured a lot, right?
yeah.
So
He
it
does
really does make sense for this specific example. Penix is going to get a shot. I don't want to say I almost guarantee it. I want no one to get hurt, but percentages will
Past
say
performance, yeah.
he's going in about 1.5 years. He's going to be starting at some point, and he'll have a shot, and we'll see what happens. But Mike, real quick, I'll flip the script for you. Okay, I'll do this. The Jags went and got a whole bunch of new toys for Trevor Lawrence this year. So you're not wrong. Okay, let's see this year. But I
Right.
don't think I'd continue to carry the torch if this year, where they have, I think, 3 or 4 new players that he has to throw to, and as long as he can build that chemistry, he should be just fine. And if he can if he can, again, 10 to 12 win season, let's get a little bit farther in the playoffs, and you're in good shape. But if he can't, he's not the right guy, and you're gonna have to figure out, somewhere to move on.
Does them bringing in Mac Jones give him that put up or shut up, or does Mac Jones not force that envelope?
No.
I mean, I'm
You're-
just
you're-
saying it's the same draft, right? Same draft.
Same draft.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's not pushing the envelope.
Yeah, true.
I don't think Mac Jones again, and I don't know anything. I don't know too much about him, but I just don't think he had a situation that was favorable in New
New
England,
England, yeah.
right? So let's see here, and again, kind of the same thing. Let's see what he can do. Hopefully, he can push Trevor. Hopefully, he can. He's got warm weather. Really, people should be happier in warm weather. So let's see. I think that he's probably got a more favorable coaching staff too, right?
Right.
That was a coaching staff that's the OC that was supposed to get him at the time of the draft, and let's see if they can do something with him. So we'll see.
Super Sully said he'd like to see more players sit and spend more time in college. You think you may see
agree with
more
that.
quarterbacks that stay in college, or that will stay in college with the NIL stuff that are coming out. So the beauty of a rookie quarterback is having that low cap you can spend at the quarterback position. I mean, that's the most expensive position in football, right?
Yep.
Is the quarterback. Yeah, I mean that's literally the reason why the Seahawks made that run, right? Because they were playing Russ like
Look at the Niners.
none.
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
Ram to the ground.
You can
Yeah.
you can pay your skill position guys, more money to your defense and surround them with better weapons. Basically, all you just got to do is have something consistent play out of the quarterback without having to pay him $100 million.
Exactly.
That's one of the reasons why Brady kept taking discounts, right? Oh yeah, no, I'll take another pay cut. You're gonna get me Randy Moss? Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Yeah, he knew that roast money was coming in, so he didn't have to.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, that was
Stupid.
great, by the way. I can't believe Bill Belichick was there. That was.
I told you it was funny.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that, Mike. Yeah, it's hilarious.
I haven't watched it yet. I just saw interviews after the fact, and he's talking about how he regrets doing it and everything. So he's like, I love the money. He's like, the money was great. People making fun of me, but my kids didn't like it. So,
Well, if the NFL wouldn't have spent the money on the investigation of him deflating balls and just paid him the money, he would have admitted it, and he wouldn't even be doing the roast.
Yeah,
So
he just give
he
me the
said
money.
that.
I would have
he's
told
like,
you.
if they wouldn't have spent the 21 million and just asked me if I did it, I would have said yes and taken the 21 million they used to investigate.
Yeah,
it. So
I did that. What do you mean? Let's see here.
21 million to investigate that? Like, that's insanity. You kidding me?
The balls. We have investigated everything, and yes, the balls were indeed flat.
No way.
Wide receiver Devontae Parker and running back David Johnson both retire this year. Parker, I believe, is 31, played in the NFL for 9 seasons, and I can't remember how long David Johnson was in the league.
I don't think it was too long.
no, it wasn't
I don't
too
think so
long.
either, but I mean, the running back position isn't a long tenured position anyway.
Yeah,
They usually
I
move
just
on
know he
unless
tore
you're
us
Frank
up a
Gore.
couple times.
Oh, 8 years.
He was in
I
it
know,
for 8 years.
I know he tore us up a couple times, and I had him in fantasy, and I liked having him.
in
Oh, wow.
Arizona, man.
Yeah.
But I mean,
8
after
years.
Arizona, where'd he go after Arizona? He went to Houston,
Texans.
Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were his 2 main teams.
Let's see here. What do we got? Did I miss anybody else in the comments? Bro said the Jags need a better O-line and quicker pass concept.
Yep.
That is true. The Raiders schedule looks okay, but if they can push, can they make a push past the Chiefs? No. I'm gonna tell you that
Who?
right now.
Who?
The Raiders.
Oh yeah.
You can beat them in regular season. I don't know. You can beat them in regular season.
Yeah, but if you look at the Raiders schedule, the
Can we
Raiders
get that
schedule
clip
looks
from last season?
Can we double down on that, please?
You beat him at
I
home
mean,
once.
if you
What am I
guys
gonna
offer
say?
me something, I'll definitely double down on it. But it's not a one-way street this time.
But if you look at our schedule, though, if you just run down the schedule, like it could realistically be another 8 and 9 season, right? Like, I'm like Chargers. We don't know what we're getting with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I got Ravens, probably not. Panthers, I'm gonna say yes. Browns, that's a wild card for me. Broncos, I think we're taking that one. Steelers, maybe. Rams, probably not. Chiefs, I think we'll split with the Chiefs. I think we'll win the series with the Broncos. But then we got Bengals. We're taking Bengals. Bengals are going 1-7, 1-16. We're taking that one. That's not going to be your only win. I'm sorry, Super Soli. Dolphins, Bucks, another playoff team. Falcons with all their new weapons. By the end of the season, we'll end up playing the Jags. So that will be a fun matchup, even if Minshew takes over. And then I'm really hoping. So if we play the Saints, right? Derek Carr.
Oh yeah.
With Derek Carr can make NFL history this year, and not on the good end. He could possibly be beaten by all 32 teams in the NFL this year. He's only lacking 2 teams, and that's with the Panthers and the Raiders. Those are the only 2 teams that haven't beaten him, and he plays both of them this year. With the Raiders defense, I don't think the Saints are going to come out on top unless they start running the ball like crazy. The defense
Derek
is
Carr
looking...
may be injured by that game anyway, so it may not matter.
He's like, I'm gonna sit this one out. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want that. I don't want that record. I'm gonna sit this one out. Okay, that'd be great. So I mean, looking at the schedule, I think we have one of the harder schedules as far as rankings. But looking at it, I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be another 8-9 season. But we could also surprise a bunch of people. Who knows? Who knows? For those of you still watching, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at JAMM Podcast. Click on that notification button. Just view us live. We are live every Monday night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at JAMM Podcast, on Twitter at JAMPackPod. Check us out at jampacked.com, which should be launching fairly soon. Just wrapping up a few details for that. Thank you for tuning in to JAMM Podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you subscribe to us for more exciting content. We're actually trying to plan a couple extra videos of we'll do it like a 3-point contest, so we can see how bad I actually do shoot. I don't know. Well, in the meantime, take care, stay active, keep the sports spirit alive. Make sure you root for your team. From all of us at JAMM Packed, be safe out there, be kind to one another, and we'll see you guys next week. Later, fellas.
see you guys.
Yeah.
Where is my people just signing off?